series, what went wrong, what we can do better, how I can improve.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a busy, eventful week. Well, you know, let's not beat around the bush. Let's just get right into it. Some stuff has been happening today, so, you know, we got to talk about it. First off, before I get to my man John over here, let's just talk about our New York Mets. Let's go, baby. Max Scherzer in the building. Oh, wait, sorry. My bad. Nick show. My fault. Nick show. My bad. I was just getting hyped because, you know, we got a Cy Young Award, two Cy Young Award winners. One got 2, one got 3. Yankees. Okay, listen. Back. Sorry, my fault. Met talk. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Is he signed though?
Oh yeah, he signed, baby. Nice little 3-year, $43 million a year. That's it. He inked it, baby. We're going. Let's go.
Congrats.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. You know, look.
Now I know to re-sign Javi Baez.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know, man.
I need him. I need him.
Listen, we might have somebody else cooking on the horizon. I'll talk to you about that, man. Might be somebody else cooking. Might look good. Hey, man.
Nah.
Some people like to say, I'll give you a hint. You might have to tell your story walking. See what I did there? Trevor Story?
Yes. Story plays shortstop. He don't play second.
Yeah, but he can play second base too, though.
He doesn't.
But he can.
But he doesn't. That doesn't make any sense. He doesn't. And
Well, I don't know. I really don't know why they're looking at him. Apparently, he can play second base and third. I don't know.
It's not going to work. I'm telling you.
I don't know, man.
Better stick with Javi. We're going to talk about this in the middle of the season. It's crazy.
we targeting some other stuff, right? We still got to get the pitching straight, you know. But anyway, whatever.
Sorry,
guys.
About
I
Burks.
had to get that Met talk out. Oh, look at him changing the subject. Yankee fans, unite, because I mean he needs help.
So
anyway, yeah, bro, how you been?
Good. You know, excited to talk Knicks. You know, with this new information we've received today, Coach Thibodeau is moving away from Kemba Walker and is bringing our guy Burks to the starting lineups.
Yeah.
What do you feel? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the news?
I don't know. I was a little shocked, to be honest. I'm surprised that Thibodeau carried it out. I mean, it's an interesting call. It doesn't mean it's permanent, guys. So, you know, just keep that in mind. It's going to be happening right now, but doesn't mean it's going to be forever. We never know. Anything could change. Injuries, all types of stuff can happen. Yeah, but the fact that Burks is now going to be the person in the starting lineup doing the point guard duties it's interesting. It definitely gives us a lot of flexibility. So I like that aspect of it. What I think is tough is just going to be what happens with Kemba going forward. Like, for example, we may run into some type of injury problems, and that's going to thrust him back into the rotation at some point in some manner, right? How do you go about doing that? What's the best type of lineups and stuff? One thing I do know about Kemba is he's a professional, so I know he's not going to spoil the locker room or be a certain way. He's all about his business, and it just kind of sucks. And all the high hopes that we had watching him come here, thinking that this was going to be a beautiful, sweet homecoming, and it's turned out to be bittersweet. So what do you think about it, John?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird play. We're 20 games in, and so I don't know if it was the right decision, but I guess we'll see. Time will tell if this was a good decision. But again, this
Hmm.
is a hard play for Coach Tibbs. I mean, I give him all the credit in the world. At least he's trying something different. He's shaking it up, um,
Right.
and he's showing that he is not afraid to make hard decisions. And that's what you need. You need a coach like that in New York City. You know what I mean? And especially with a team like the New York Knicks, who has a storied franchise. You can't be afraid of making hard decisions because there is going to be plenty more to make if we don't turn things around. And if certain individuals and certain players do not step up their games and start playing like we expect them to play and start putting in the effort and energy. I think it's unfortunate that for Kemba that he hasn't really gotten the rhythm yet of how the team wants to play. But there is a liability on defense, right? Where he is a smaller guard. He doesn't close out as aggressively as you would like him to, especially against shooters. And
Right.
he has a hard time staying in front of bigger guards, even smaller guards. I think he just has a hard time. He's always, he's always trailing a play, right? Like trailing the defensive, assignment, and that isn't helpful because then that puts more pressure on sort of the internal defense, right? It puts a lot more pressure on Mitch Robinson to come over and trap, and which leaves an easy bucket for anyone who's sliding behind them. Um, and the same goes for Noel, having to come up early instead of staying back and protecting the rim. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I think Kemba will handle this as professional as anyone else would. Um,
Hmm.
this really reminds me of a lot of what happened last year when we had, Austin Rivers. It really reminds me a
Right.
lot of the Austin Rivers move because at some points he helped us win games, right? I mean, we started the season out 5-1, I believe, with Kemba Walker,
Yeah. 5-1 with Kimba. Right.
and then we started like breaking apart a bit at the seams. However, we seen the deficiencies in the offense, even though we won those games, and
Right.
for the most part, the same for the defense too. So I think it's sort
Hmm.
of we could see it. I think we all seen it coming. We just didn't know it was going to be this soon. Um, the question is, can he
Yeah.
come back? Can he come back and find his way back into the rotation? Is there enough of can we see enough of him in practice to say he, earned his spot back in the starting lineup? That's sort of
I
where
don't
we're
think
at.
so. I don't know. I don't think so. You know why? Because it'd be one thing if he just wasn't in the flow of the offense. He wasn't hitting his shots and things were of that nature, like offensively. But it's the defensive end, and I mean he's so bad on defense that I just don't know if you can fix that. Like
Right,
it's too many handicaps for him, size wise,
right,
ability wise. He's getting abused out there. So that's a
right.
shame. It's tough.
Not to mention
But
he is coming back from his injury too. So I mean, he's also
true,
rehabbing that
true.
injury, and he's not playing back to back games. So that's something. There's no consistency there. There's consistency for him not playing back to backs, but not for a team like us that we need a full team because we don't have one or two legitimate stars that could hold us down. We need a full
Right.
team effort. Um, but here's a question, though, and I don't want to move on from the subject because have other teams I think my question is have other teams seen enough of Kemba to say, hey, we can take a flyer on him because we need an offensive punch, maybe off the bench.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe I think. See, the whole thing is the complex issue that we have with the New York Knicks is I don't think the sum of all their parts add up correctly. I don't think we have necessarily the right personnel in our starting lineup, and because of that, we don't have a floor general, and because of that, like no one out there is doing what we expect them to do in that starting
Right.
lineup. Like it's not good for RJ, it's not good for Randall, and on the flip side of it, you know, Kimba uh, is being put in a position to be kind of like that orchestrator, and I don't think he's that guy. Like maybe he was at one point, long time ago, but since then he's become a scorer. Like that's his
Right.
his game is to get buckets, right? So I think it's been really tough, and because of that, I think it hurts him too. I think if we had a floor general, and Kimba could hold, have the ball in his hands and do a couple things with it, but we also had a floor general out there, so Kimba doesn't have to worry about that. I think Kimba's game would be better too. I just think it affects everybody, and unfortunately, the Knicks made a bad call when it came to going after Kimba. I mean, yes, he fell in our laps, but you still needed a floor general, so you probably should have thought about that a little bit more before making that move, because it's coming back to bite us now. And as far as other teams looking at him for what he's done, I mean, Kemba can still score. We've seen it. And I think if you have a system where it's like a spread open, wide open type of system where you got guys who can stretch the floor and there's a lot of lanes to the basket, I think Kemba would be fine in that. Like if you put Kemba on a team, not that they would need him, but I think if you put Kemba on a team like the Warriors, he'd be great over there. But it has to be a team that has that type of offense in place where it's spread open and he has lanes. He can get to the basket if he wants. He can take his mid range, or he could pop the three. I think that's what he needs. We definitely don't have that right now. We don't have the lanes that we need to have. We're still working on that.
Yeah, well, I find this interesting because I'm also sort of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to sort of how they're going to play this out, because you can look at it a couple of different ways. You can look at it saying, hey, we may already have found a suitor for Kemba Walker, or teams are calling and asking about Burks. And if they're asking about Burks, they want to know what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are. And so this is sort of his time to showcase his talents, right? So putting him at the one gives us an opportunity to shop a player like that around, because he's sort of hot. He can fit so many different roles for other teams.
Right.
And if we can get high quality, whether it be a personnel or a player or draft picks, there may be a possibility there as well. So like there's so many ways that in which Leon Rose and the front office can take this. It's really looking at your team and how it's built and figuring out what key pieces you have that could be potentially valuable to another team, right? Especially if you're running the 500 mark. Right now, that's where we're at. We're not better. We're not worse. We're right there. We'll win games that we're probably expected to lose, and then we'll lose games that we are expected to win. So at this point, the consistency is what matters. And then when you look at players like, and I hate to say this because I know you're not a big fan of bringing them in, but a Ben Simmons or a Damian Lillard or a, Karl Anthony Towns, right? Like you look at players that are sort of high on our list as far as players that we've looked at in the past and could be looking for a brighter future elsewhere. We really have to pay attention to that. We really have to like open our eyes and see what could potentially be available to us. Because again, we're not a team with any budding superstar. Julius Randle is, a good player, a solid player, but as we all can tell, he is not someone who can take over a game on his own. It's a struggle for him to do so, and he's going to need some additional weapons. He could be a great, secondary scorer, because I'm sure he can score if the pressure's not on him. But if he's seeing the double teams a lot, it seems like he's getting off his game and he's not being aggressive. Case in point, the game against Chicago, right? I think he only shot like 8 shots or something like that. And that's sort of what you don't want to see in your superstar. right? Like you want your superstar to take the majority of the shots, even if they're off. So
it's a good point. It's a good point.
So there's so many things
Yeah.
I'm looking at, I'm looking at all of these things, thinking a little bit different than what most people are talking
Mm-hmm.
about, because they automatically say, "Oh, Kemba's out," but what else is going on is not necessarily. It's not really
Right.
the player, because of course Coach Tibbs and the front office, they respect the player, they know what he's accomplished, but are there other factors in play
Yeah,
that
that's a good
we're
point.
not
I
privy
mean,
to it? Yeah,
right. Regardless of what happens right now, whether it's intentional or unintentional, people are getting showcased because the Knicks
right.
are going to make. I have a feeling they're going to make some type of move when it's the time. So I mean
Right.
that, and maybe
December,
it could be Burks, it
what?
could be anybody.
Yeah, trade deadline's right around the corner. I really don't see anyone as being untouchable for these New York Knicks, to be honest. Like Barrett hasn't had a season where you say you have to lock him in. He really hasn't, unfortunately. I mean, we wish that was so. And then you have players like Quickly who can be great and, then could be good fits for another team. We have players like Noel, even Mitchell Robinson, like any one of those pieces, Fournier. The only problem with Fournier is that he's got a $40 million contract. It's hard to move, right? With Kemba's 2 years, 17. What is Burks? 30 mil? 3 years, 30 mil, something like that.
Yeah, correct.
So you know what I mean? Like it has to be player for player. And then, I noticed when we end up having conversations mostly on chats about, and with other Knicks fans, and they talk about, oh, we could
Mm-hmm.
get XYZ. And I'm like, well, does the money make sense? Like, let's be honest. Like, can we make that
Mm-hmm.
move? Because you can't make a move if somebody first and foremost is deadlocked in their contract and doesn't have has a no trade clause. They have a no trade clause. That's not even a good fit because they have
Right.
that there for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Built into their contract. So it's just things like that, and the money has to match. So
that is important. Money has to match. You're right about that. And then there's going to be a lot of scenarios out there that I'm sure the Knicks are going to get hit with. There's going to be some they create on their own, but I mean, we got to see what happens. I just don't want them. There was an interesting question that was posed. Uh, where was it? I think. Oh yeah, it was on Uncle Freezy's show, his morning show. It was. Would you rather Tibbs play the rookies and not make the playoffs, or Tibbs play the veterans and make the playoffs? And I thought it was interesting because when I did the poll, like I clicked on it and it was like 70% of people said they'd rather see the rookies and not make the playoffs. I thought that was surprising. So, I mean, I think people,
because we want to see,
us
a lot of folks want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think they want us to keep building and seeing what we have, what's developing. Like, I get it. And the flip side of that argument is, if you play the vets and we make the playoffs and we get knocked out in the first round, like what's the point? So I understand that part of it too. But
there's no right and wrong, right? Like there are very few teams and players that can come out as a rookie, play lights out, and win you a championship. It's just unheard of. When have you seen a team come with, rookies or 2 second-year players and automatically win a championship? It doesn't happen. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Green didn't win to their 3rd, 4th year in. You get what I'm saying? So they already were seasoned. They were seasoned in the NBA and in the game. However, I do understand that, you want that time to build the chemistry on the court. So I do get that, because that's how, the Warriors built. Like they played them regardless, because they were high draft picks though. And that's the secondary thing, is like all of those guys were high draft picks. They were first rounders, right? Because I think Green was he was a first rounder as well. He wasn't a second rounder, was he?
I believe you. Man, my
Draymond?
memory is a little sketchy on Draymond. I don't remember if he was a first rounder or a second rounder. Huh.
Well, either way, they played all three of them, together, for most of their career. And that helped build their chemistry. And I understand, learning on the fly, like learning with game experience. But there's something to be said about learning, behind a veteran and really understanding the game behind the veteran, because there are certain tricks of the trade and ways that you need to approach the game, the change of tempo that you need to be able to play with. You know what I mean? All of those things. How do you keep yourself healthy for an 82 game season? You know what I mean? Like, that's super important. Good
Hmm.
habits.
Right.
But it's going to be interesting. A trade deadline is what, sometime in December, mid-December. We're going to hear a lot of talks about that, and I'm almost sure like this Kemba conversation isn't going to go away
Hmm.
because folks are going to be wondering. Because the reality is that even if Burks has a starting lineup, there are games we're going to lose, and when we lose these games, things ain't going to look good for Burks either. So
That's a fact.
that's just the reality. You know what I mean? We don't have a team that's going to be like, oh, he automatically wins the starting point guard position. We've seen him run point before. It isn't pretty. It's good, but it isn't pretty. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
we're going to ask too much of him, he's going to look worse than he does coming off the bench. And so
Yeah.
for me, it's like, why put us there? Why go there? When you have so many other options. But again, it's Rose is injured, and that's a key element. If Rose is injured and we're really trying to play Grimes and give Grimes some minutes, and I love his energy, don't get me wrong, but as you can tell, he shot 1 for 5. Seriously, what are we talking about here? Right? Like, it's
But
not like
in fit
his shot is good. His shot is clean. Is beautiful. It looks great. Great rotation, great everything. And shooters shoot. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm saying he's 1 for 5. He is a rookie. Don't expect him to go off for 20. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to happen. He may have one or two, showcase games that he's on. But the consistency part, I don't know.
yeah,
We have
that's
to
true.
wait and see.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough, man. It's this is the Knicks are they if I had hair, I'd pull my hair out. But it is what it is.
Same here.
Well, before we continue, I think this is a great time to give a shout out to our sponsor, which
Oh,
is Urban Cowboy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's podcast is sponsored by Urban Cowboy, designed for the lived experience. Urban Cowboy clothing, uniquely designed for every urban trendsetter, both young and mature. So definitely check them out. Um, and you know what? Unlike the
absolutely.
Knicks, they have a plan. No.
Right. They do. I think the Knicks
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
plan, though, man. I think the Knicks have a plan.
I think
We
our
just
plan
don't.
got busted, to be honest, John. I think we
I
had a
don't.
plan. I think our plan got busted, bro. I don't know.
I really don't think so. I think you have, with any with any situation, right, year to year, when you talk about team sports, you have to have plan A and a plan B. And then you even have a plan C, right? A good organization is going to have multiple plans. As the season goes on, you work those plans into fruition. You look at the situation that you're handed and you say, okay, this situation didn't pan out the way we thought it would. But now how do
Hmm.
we transition from that to plan B? What is our next move, right? And so I think the way the Knicks approached free agency, the way the Knicks approached the draft, the way the Knicks have approached this entire season, I think we are that sort of organization that has tiers of planning. I don't think that it's just one and done. I don't think it was like, oh, we threw all our eggs in that one basket like we did in the past. with Steve Mills and all the others. You know what I mean? And David Fisdale, you know, and what's the gentleman's name? Phil Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's the era that we're living in. I think we're in an era where they're really thinking this thoroughly and they're thinking this through. If that wasn't the case, I don't even know if Tibbs would want to make a decision like that so hastily. If there wasn't a plan B, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I look at it as a strategic plan put in place because they are thinking about options. What are the next options? You know, where do we go from here? We have trade deadline coming up in December. Do we start making players available for other teams to see so that we have an option to trade or we have an option for some sort of deals, you know? And so I think we're going to be busy. I really do think we're going to be busy. I just don't know in which direction we're going to go. Are we looking for a point guard? Are we going to look for a big? Or are we going to look for both? You know, there's nothing to say that we can't attack for both. You know?
Right. Well, I will say that one, we've got still got a bunch of time before the trade deadline hits. So the trade deadline, I think, is sometime in, I don't know, January or February.
Oh, it's January? Actually, it's not December?
Yeah, December 15th is the first time those contracts are made whole, so then we can start moving those parts. Yeah, I guess it's a certain time that has to pass from when the contracts get signed, when they become, you know, I guess you have to play a certain amount of that time for it to be a fit. I don't know, whatever it is. They have
before you can move people. Correct. Right.
And to answer your question about Draymond Green, he was the 35th pick in the second round.
Right.
Yeah.
I took a look at that too. Second round. But look, even if so, you know, you still had two guys, you know, Curry and Thompson were first round picks. And then with the added addition of Draymond's game, it meshed really well. And they figured it out.
Right.
So kudos to that organization.
No, they definitely did. Well, I mean, listen, you know, obviously Tibbs made this decision because of the way the Knicks have been playing on the court. And from what we saw, he got to witness it firsthand. He saw different lineups, different rotations, different pieces that seemed to work better than others. So, you know, and this is how we got to this point. But it all started with their game against the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, the Lakers have been dealing with their own issues. They haven't necessarily figured out, you know, what they can do as of yet. They're having some issues trying to get some of their parts to work. Westbrook is doing all types of crazy, wild stuff, and he can't get it together yet. So we got to see what they do in the long haul. But you know, it was a good game for the Knicks. It was a horrible. How do you say that? It was a poor game as far as execution.
Horrific.
Both sides. It was a poor game as far as execution goes, right?
Yeah,
and so, but in the end, the Knicks were able to get the victory, and that's all that matters. You know, it worked out. What did you think about how the Knicks played in this game, man?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they played well. I mean, it was, again, they were not. There was a lot of defensive lapses by both teams. And, you know, again, sloppy play. It wasn't, you know, the offensive teams weren't great. Like it was sort of a mediocre game to watch. But as a Knicks fan, you're happy that we could come out with the victory. I did peg us to lose this game. So I would say that I was sort of happy that I was wrong. You know what I mean? Because this is a home game and we really need to start winning home games and protect our home court if we want a chance at winning 50 games this season. So I'm glad we got this win. And I think for the most part, they were only missing LeBron, right? Because he was suspended. Everyone else
Right.
was on the court and playing. At least the usuals were playing. So I give them credit. You know, they stood with it within the game, and they made plays at the end to come ahead. Again, the Lakers are horrible defensively, so it isn't like they were up against anything, you know, that we needed to worry about. They look better on paper than they are on the court. So, yeah, they're pretty much the same on the same boat as we are, where we're trying to find ourselves and, you know, trying to figure out what is our identity, and they're sort of the same sort of boat.
I just think it's kind of crazy to be honest. Like, it's so weird. I can't tell you the last time I saw a LeBron team that doesn't play good defense. You know, that's a weird. It's like an oxymoron. To me, that's really weird. And it kind of makes me go back to the whole, why did they let David Caruso go? Like, Alex Caruso. David Caruso is the actor. My bad.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why they let Alex Caruso go. That was
David does a good job of acting also. You know?
Yeah, this is weird. I don't know why they did that, because I mean, I think he would have. I mean, unless his money that
he
they would have
asked
had
to come
pay
back.
him.
Now
Right.
he asked to come back at a lower, you know, price, but I guess they wanted to go away from him, and they you know, the Lakers are a team where you need star power, right? That's the thing. When you look at LA, it's built off of star power. LeBron is that star. They figured, you know what, get the three-headed monster in, you know, and then they really thought they were going to maximize those positions, and for whatever reason, it's not gelling, you know, and it's not due to lack of, you know, skill level. It's just they're inconsistent, like we are. We're very inconsistent teams, and that's why we're sort of like 500. You know, even the Lakers are sort of 500 team. You know, maybe they're under 500 at this point in time. So, yeah, I mean, and I'll say this: if it wasn't for Burks, we lose this game. So,
Yep, that's
it's
true.
one of
That's
those,
true.
right? So, like, think about it. If it wasn't for Burks to hit some big shots and Obi played like he did, we lose this game.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. That he was a main reason why we were able to pull this game out. Fournier actually did pretty good in this
Play
game
well.
too. Yeah, so we, you know, as I said before, like the guys that we expect to do something, even if they're not great, they have, you know, they don't have the best games. Their contributions on the offensive end are huge for us. They got to give us like 15 points or so to help the overall product of us being able to put up enough points to beat the other team. So we got that from them for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good victory. It was a bad game, poorly executed, but it was a good win. We needed the win.
Yeah, we definitely needed to win bad. And again, to what you were saying, we need a full team effort because we don't have that one. We don't have that legit, you know, premier all-star, you know what I mean? Premier,
Right.
you know, player on our team who is going to collapse defenses, right? We got Randu who can draw the double team, but they know he's going to pick up the rock and try to pass it. So they've already figured out his game, and he hasn't figured out how to adapt to that yet. And until he figures it out, we're going to struggle offensively. Because the reality is this is our offensive struggles aren't on Kemba, right? Our offensive struggles are really on RJ and Randall right now. That's what's making a struggle. And defensively, you give that to Kemba, right? And you also give that to Fournier. But you also want to give that to other players when they're in the games, because how many times we get a lot of players on our team get beat back on back door. Like we're constantly.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you choose. You could choose Noel, you could choose Burks, you could choose Quickly, you could choose Barrett. They all getting caught back door or in switch and baits, right? They're getting baited and they're getting left for their men, end up switching off their man and then leaving a guy open for three where you have no way of getting back to him, right? So the switch and bait thing is a problem for us, and that's everybody. So you really,
That's true.
You
That
can
is
say,
true.
yeah, Kemba, you're a problem because you're a liability, but you can't just solely blame that on Kemba. Look at the rest of the team too.
Although Kemba's not getting beat back door, he's getting beat front door. So
Oh yeah, which is the biggest problem, right? It's like, and it's hard for him to rebound. So
yeah, that's tough.
Out of position.
Well, I mean, at least we got that win against the Lakers, which stopped the losing because we lost the game prior to that.
Right.
But then we go into that Phoenix game, and I think we both knew that was going to be a tough one. That was, I mean,
Yeah.
Phoenix is no joke, man. They're an elite team in this league for a reason. They came close to winning the championship last year. They pretty much got the same cast and crew over there too. They were a lot quicker than we were. Everything they did was quicker than us, and it showed. And that was, I mean, and like even the rebounding. I think we out rebounded them, or if not, we were very close.
Right.
But you would never, like, those rebounds had to be on the offensive end because of the shots we were missing. Because when I looked at their box score, they barely missed. So I mean, our defense wasn't doing much to them, and they were hot, and they just ran us out the building pretty much. I think they led, maybe for 3 quarters. It wasn't end to end, but it was definitely, they led for about 3 quarters straight. We couldn't catch them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably brought it down to like 9 or something like that, and then they just took the lead again. Again, it's really about those threes, right? And I said the switch and bait, right? It's sort of you switch and they bait you to switch because now they're looking for their perimeter shooters because they got, and I would say they got 3 or 4 really good passing, wing players, guards. You know what I mean? I mean, even Crowder was open for open threes, right? Then you look at the reverse side and you look at our team. Our guys were open also. We just didn't hit any shots. So it's like you can't have, like, if you have a good shooting team, you can play the sort of offense that we're trying to play. Right now, our shooting is horrific. And folks aren't, like, the mentality of getting in closer to get a better quality shot is lost in today's NBA. It's either 3 or nothing. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, come on. So, like, it's sort of like, you sort of can't reteach that anymore because it's not a part of the game, and that's not how the game is played anymore. But like at some points, I'm like, give it Julius in the block and let him work off the block. Like, stop facing up. Just do a little, make it hard on the referees. Make them make those calls, because it's right now it's to our disadvantage that we just keep shooting threes and we're not hitting them, and we're in horrible rhythm as like you said, execution is poor. That was the difference between the two of us, between Phoenix and us, is their execution was NBA level, our execution was G League level, and that's just what it was. And I had to sit through this game with my son, who happens to root, and I'm going to say root for the Phoenix Suns, because he is a front runner. Root for the Phoenix Suns. And he was talking all the smack. And I was like, oh, man. But, I sat through it. I sat through the misery, and I gave him his props. He picked the right team. Again, it is what it is. They're a better team. They're expected to be in the race, in the hunt for a championship. Let's see if they make it. Time will tell, right? I mean, Chris Paul isn't getting any younger, but he is a savvy veteran. The one takeaway I would say is I love the way he quickly played in this game. I love his energy. I love his aggressiveness. I love that he was game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he
also,
was.
I've seen some growth there. However, his shooting, his shot selection still isn't the best.
Yeah. Sometimes he's got to put that shot away, keep it in the bag, and don't tie it up tight, throw it over a cliff. Don't leave that shot alone, especially that one from the paint for the numbers. I don't know why guys do that, but if you're not Steph Curry or Rayford Trae Young, almost messed up.
They want to get there.
Trae
They want to
Young.
get there.
Yeah. Now, just relax. But it was one of those where I could say that everything that I didn't like about the Knicks was in this game. The
Right.
effort on certain plays, leaving guys wide open,
Right.
the poor shooting, the poor passing. I think we had this was one of those games. I think we had
High
13
turnovers.
assists. Yeah, turnovers, and I think we had about 13 assists for the game. The whole team.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Because it was one and done. You had poor shot selection by a lot of our players. R.J. Barrett, poor shot selection. Fournier, poor shot selection. The list goes on and on for how many guys thought that they could take it upon themselves to go one-on-one. It's like, not against this team. This team is quality defensively. And they got a premier scorer and all-star in Devin Booker, who can get his shot off on anybody, even regardless if you throw a double team at him, he's going to go through the double team. It's just, that's what we don't have. Now you match that with the IQ of one Chris Paul, the team's length and speed, because they got some speed and they got really good shooting. They're a tough team. They're a really good team.
Our kryptonite was in this game. The two things that kill us the most: 3-point shooting by the opposing team and the pick and roll. Man, especially with teams that do it well. Oh boy, it's bad.
Yeah,
it was like a masterclass out there. So,
but that just shows us that we're nowhere near a championship. Like, we're nowhere near getting to a championship. It's just we need to build the chemistry of our team and figure out, like you said earlier, what is our identity as a team? How do we build that? How do we figure out, how to play together? And can we build off of that? Can the young kids come in and play a major role in this team as years go on? I love seeing, and we'll talk about it next, but,
Yes, we will. Well, I mean, look. That was a tough one, and that was a real downer. It would have been one thing if we played to our abilities and we lost the game by a couple points. At least you could say you happy with that effort. The Knicks can hang their heads. We did what we needed to do to win. The other team just executed a little better than us. It was a couple shots difference, something like that. But no, we got smoked. So, it was bad. And then there was a lot of people thinking, hey, man, going into this Atlanta game, it's going to be the same thing because Atlanta's hot. They won 7 in a row. They lit us up in the playoffs, all this stuff. And I was under the impression that
they played well,
we were going to rebound well. I thought we were going to play well against them. And the Knicks came out and they did, despite having, significant pieces out like Derrick Rose.
Taj
was out. And
Noel was out too, right?
Noel was out. Yeah, because we played Sims. Yeah, Noel was out as well. And so it was one of those situations where we had to go deep into the bench. And let me tell you, it was pretty fun watching them go deep into the bench and see some of these young guys get out there and be hungry. It was nice to see them play together and be hungry. And this was the best we've seen Jericho Sims since he's been a Knick. That was really cool.
Right. Yeah, I
also think that
it was awesome to see. What was it? 3 out of 5 rookies playing, or it was 4 out of the 5 rookies playing together, or second-year players. It was Obi, Quickly, Grimes, and Sims all playing together with, all playing together with Randall, and it looked really good.
At one point
with Burks,
too.
And one time was with Burks too, right? So you had RJ Burks, but that mix of the young players, so it looked good.
No, it was nice. It was nice. And Got to give credit to Grimes, man. He doesn't get to play too often, but when his number's called, at least on the defensive end, this guy he's good.
Yeah,
He's
he's a
really
good
good on
player.
defense.
Yeah, he gives the energy. He has that sort of motor that Tibbs likes, you know. And that's the same thing we're going to see with Deuce when he makes his way back with the team. Because I think, isn't he playing like G League? He's being back and forth, right?
Right, back and forth, right.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to see that. Look at the energy by Sims with that block. He played a
Mm-hmm.
really good game. He was high pick and roll. He was rolling hard to the basket. He had some good putbacks. You know, overall, man, he played a solid game defensively too against Capella, who isn't an easy, handle.
And he's young and he's active and he has a bigger body, broader frame, so he sets really good screens to get other guys open. He sets better screens than Mitch or Nerlens. So
He's making contact where Noel and Mitch somehow. How do you miss? How do you miss? Like almost they're afraid to make the contact.
I don't know what it is, man. Like Nerlens is like invisible out there when it comes to those things. And then Mitch, when he really wants to set it, he doesn't do it right. He like bumps into the guy and gets an offensive foul. Like it's just, it is what it is. I don't know. But this is another game where quickly was great again, and Obi was fantastic in limited minutes. Like he was great. He was a spark plug out there for real. He had that incredible
13
dunk
in 15 minutes, right?
Right,
Something
and he had that
crazy
incredible
like that.
dunk off the pass that Grimes gave him.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was just
nice.
Electric. Yeah, that was a beautiful.
Here it is. Oh,
hey, let's go.
Don't get tired of watching that one.
Nah, I mean, that's what a play, man. Like, and then his athleticism is ridiculous.
This is in Atlanta, and we had so many Knicks fans in Atlanta. You heard the crowd. There were parts of the crowd cheering for us when that dunk went in. It was crazy.
Right, it was crazy. Yeah, man. But I think this was a really good win. One thing that the stat that's been going around is obviously they came in on a 7-game win streak. We snapped that. They came in scoring 120 points in each of these 7 games on the average. We held them to 99. So yeah, this was a good effort by the Knicks. Make no mistake that one thing I can say, even though it doesn't look like it, sometimes the eye test is a little deceiving. The Knicks have been playing really good defense these past few games. Like overall, what they've been holding opponents to, it's been better. It's been getting back to what the Knicks have done in the past. We're not there yet, but we were getting a lot more active.
I have to agree with you there. And also, having Noel come back for the few games that he was back also helps. He may not be the best at catching, a pass or rebounding a ball, but he is a really good rim protector. I mean, that's what he gets paid for, is really to get there and be a distraction. He is pretty good on the ball defender. He pokes the ball away a lot. He's a real pest when it comes to the, breaking up fast breaks and things of that nature. So, I mean, he's a valuable asset as a player. Is he dominant? I don't know. I would say not. Is he good? Yeah, he's good for what he does, but you can't expect nothing more than that. You know what I mean? You're not going to expect him to catch a pass. He's not going to rebound the ball effectively. He's going to bobble the ball, and to be honest, the same goes for Mitch right now. Mitch hasn't really shown much of that either.
It's true.
This year.
This is true.
So, the weight doesn't actually help him. You would have thought that you gain some weight, you get it. Not yet. He has to figure that one out. So, yeah, man.
We'll see.
Burks, this is one of the reasons why, you look at this game and you see us, keep that team to 90. And we had Burks at the starting lineup, right? Because everyone was out.
Yep.
And this is sort of our first indication of what we could potentially look like with a Burks, starting lineup. as a point guard. But again, guys got to recall last year we played that also, and he didn't look so good.
Yeah,
Start
yeah,
as a
I
point
know.
guard.
I just think that this year's role is different for him. Last year was having him in there as a facilitator. That's not his game. This year, it's more of, well, we need you to score, but we also want your defense, because at that position, we were getting
Mhm.
almost a negative on defense. So what he's
Right.
adding, that's a big difference.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah,
With
I
the
mean,
size and athleticism, absolutely, you're gonna get better
right.
defense. It's just automatic. He can stay with guards. He has quick hands. He rebounds the ball well. So you're really gonna get all of those, those metrics, as you say. Like those. What not? They cannot call metrics. They're called metrics is for you to. What are they? What analytics? Analytics,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Yeah,
Analytics. Yeah.
analytics. Yeah, you're gonna get all those analytics for us. Let's see if it shapes up to some wins. But I'm telling you, when we lose, it's gonna look bad, and people are gonna be
No,
like,
it is.
we should have not went with Obi. We should have gotten Halliburton, and it's just gonna be that conversation all over again. You know what I mean? And
That train's never
again,
late, bro.
I'm telling you, I'm I was sort of in between those two picks, right? Myself. So we're kind of back in that same boat. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, at least we out of these three games, we won two out of the three games, and we were able to kind of still stay above that 500 mark, which is good, because I just think mentally the team looks at themselves in the standings, say, okay, we're still above water, still, we're
Hmm.
still we can swim, we can keep our heads up. So
They're treading water right
uh,
now.
yeah, we're treading water right now, exactly. But this is that dreaded time. This is the time that I hate, John. It used to be
Mm.
like, oh, I was inspired. I said, man, what's going to happen? This could be a moment where I shine, but I haven't been shining. So, yeah, it brings us to the point where we look at our predictions and stuff, and see what's going on, and make our picks for the upcoming schedule. Like this
So
is that time.
someone's knocking. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Hey,
what's going
what's
on?
going on?
Not much, man. Listen, I'm wearing my New York Knicks hat right now. I'm with you
That's
guys.
what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
you
Let's
joined
go,
the fray.
Jose.
Listen,
Is that city edition?
it's that city edition right now.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
I'm super excited because I get to announce the winner, the king of prediction for this week. Are you guys ready?
Hmm.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna have to point at this guy right here. He
Why are you
got the win
pointing at
today.
me?
You
I'm
got the
always
win.
losing.
No, you got the
No.
win. You got the win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and to the fans who are watching, this week's winner is all right. I need to tell you who won, right? Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Who won? Who
Who
won?
won this week, right? And the winner is
Somebody.
somebody won.
Not sure who.
I'm so confused. Did anybody win?
Cool. We're gonna take a pause right here because we're having technical difficulties.
Nice. This is
Of
real
course.
TV, people.
Of course, we're having technical difficulties.
We really are having
Of
technical
course.
difficulties.
Oh man.
I'm actually dying right now.
Oh man.
Well, let's come back to that. Let's come back to that. But
Yeah. I think what okay, look, this is the whole thing. I know that no matter what, I'm held to a high standard. I know you guys look at me at home and you're like, you know what? I mean, Ron's our man. You know, we see him everywhere. He's out here. He's talking about the Knicks. He knows his Knicks. He's got to be winning these battles. Like, what's going on? Why does he keep losing to this guy, John? Like, John?
I know, right?
I mean, it rhymes with Ron, but you know that ain't real. I know, guys. I'm letting you guys down. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Listen, I'm supposed to play my
I'm
role.
trying.
I'm supposed to be second fiddle. I just got to play my role, you know?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Like I'm believing in myself, and that's the key. All you young out there, you gotta believe in yourself. That's all that matters. Whether it be good or bad, I thought it was good.
And you have to have a good friend to back you up too, and throw you a bone from time to time. You know, that's this guy right here.
Yeah.
Say, hey,
yeah.
Let's get this win. Come on.
You know, I like that. Although I think you threw me the bone last week, and last week you wound up winning. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't like the bones you throw at people. Keep those to yourself, buddy. What type of friend are you? This is my friend. What do my enemies look like? Jeez.
Hey, look, I was trying. The basketball gods found, you know, my way to the winning circle. They were like, well, you know, let's keep this going for another week or two. What is it, 6 weeks straight? You know, so it's about time we break this. I mean, so.
Yeah, well, just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is not so live TV. It's not so live because it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, I love that.
I heard like a whirlwind. There's a lot of energy happening. You know, the winds are coming. Or maybe it's the flames. The flames are coming. It's my persecution now. I don't know what's happening.
Let's just give the man the crown. I'm just gonna crown you, bro. Like, come on, man. Let me take this off of my hat and just hand that off to you.
What are you talking about?
I'll hand that off to you. Bam! There you go. You got it.
Wait, are you saying it's me? You think I'm the one who won? No, I don't think so.
You're the winner.
No way, buddy.
You definitely won this week.
There's no way. No, it's okay. Man. Like it's fine.
We'll talk about my prediction. I said we'll go 0-3. That's what I had stated. I said 0-3. I did.
Yeah, you definitely didn't win.
I definitely lost. And I think you went 3-0, didn't you? Oh no, you went 2 for 3.
No,
you said we'll lose the Phoenix game, right?
Well, technically, that's a good prediction, though.
Yeah, so 3.
I said we beat the Lakers. I said
You went 3-0 this week, bro.
Yes.
I don't know how I got 2 on the board, though. I think I went 0 for.
All right. We had some technical difficulties, but we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 6 weeks, Ron is the winner of the King of Prediction. And because it's your first time...
Oh man, I was jamming, B. I was jamming.
Congratulations. You had a perfect prediction. You predicted they will win against the Lakers. You predicted they will lose against the Suns and that they will win against the Hawks. A perfect prediction.
Perfect week, man. That's the way you're supposed to be winning, right? You have to start off with the wins perfecto.
But
thank you.
Now it's time for this week's prediction.
I love it. But let me just tell you, everything's working perfectly now, guys. You know why? Because I won. So that had to go wrong because I won this week. Had John won, everything would have been mwah. That's okay. That's my luck. It's all right. Well, all right. So look what we got here. Knicks versus Nets, Bulls versus Knicks, and the Nuggets versus the Knicks. Oh man, these are all tough games once again.
Yeah, tough.
Do you want the honors
in front of us? Yeah, sure. I'll take the honors. We're playing against the New Jersey Nets
Oh, you mean the
tomorrow,
Brooklyn? You mean the Brooklyn Nets?
and they never really beat Brooklyn.
Okay, I got
So
it.
fine, Brooklyn Nets. um, this is a tough one because I really want this win. I really do. But they just have so much firepower. It's tough to go up against a guy like Kevin Durant and the way they've been playing. They've been winning. Um, I don't even know what their winning streak is right now. Something about like 2 or 3.
Uh, the Brooklyn Nets have won. Nope, they lost their last one.
They lost the last one. Okay.
But they are 14-6, so they were hot. They
They
were
are
hot.
14-6. They were hot for a little bit of time. Man, I really want this one tomorrow. I'm gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna say Knicks. I'm gonna go with the Knicks with a win here. Then I'm gonna go
Okay.
win with the Bulls because I like
You
that
mean the
matchup.
Bulls are going
I
to
like
win?
the way. No, the Knicks are gonna win.
Okay.
Because remember, this is our home game now. We play. We're really in New York, right? So we're really not traveling. So
Right.
Brooklyn is gonna be a home game for us. You get what I'm saying?
I see
However,
your point.
it's against the team that they just have the best scorer, in the league right now. Him and Steph are bar none the top 2 scorers in the league. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna say Knicks win against the Nets. I think the Knicks are gonna win against the Bulls because I like the way we match up with that team. We've played them really tough. We've, you know, I think we were in the game. I mean, however, I think Randall will have a better game this next go round. So I'm hopeful there. And this is a home game, so we got to protect home. So I'm looking for the win. And then I think we lose against the Nuggets because Jokic is on another level.
Okay. I got you. I'm with you.
Are you going with your heart or your mind?
I'm going with my mind. So, the Knicks will beat the Nets.
Wow.
Because I feel like the unit that they're going to run out there is going to be similar to what they ran out there against the Hawks. Maybe a little different, but similar. And I think that could actually play these Nets pretty well. And they've also have their own little person they've jettisoned to their non-rotation minutes, and that's Blake Griffin. They came out with the same announcement on their end about Blake, so he also
Oh,
is out
really?
of the rotation. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I think
So,
Harris is hurt too, right? Joe Harris is out for the season.
oh
Injury.
yeah, I think he is hurt. Yeah.
I think he's
Tough.
having season-ending
Season
surgery.
ending. Wow,
Huh.
it's crazy. Bulls versus Knicks. I just like our matchup against them. I'm going with the Knicks. And the Nuggets versus the Knicks. This is probably going to be our biggest challenge. Jokic kills us. However, they're a 10-10 team right now.
Oh, really?
I'm going with the Knicks.
Wow. Hey, like that. I like that.
Hi, fellas.
No need to ask me, Jose. I'm going to tell you right now, buddy. Lock it in.
Let's lock it
Alright.
in.
Okay, everybody locks in. Okay.
Lock it in.
Yeah. Locked. Let's go.
All right, gentlemen.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Until next week. Hopefully my technical issue is fixed. Maybe it's just because John's been winning back to back that it forgot that Ron was also a competitor in this, match. But Ron, you won. Remember? We danced.
Oh yeah, right. I did. I won. Hey.
Wait a minute. I don't get any. I don't get no love. That's crazy.
Listen. When I win, it's big things, baby. It's big things. Yeah, man. You know, there's that. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. Another good show, guys. And you know, like I said, this is you know, basically pre-recorded live TV. So, you know, we don't cut. We give it to you raw, uncut, baby. Let's go. It is what it is. It is what it is. And like I said, I'm telling you, forget what you saw take place. If I had lost, that wouldn't have happened. I'm telling you, don't even, you know, take my word for it.
Right.
Anyway, John, once again, a pleasure chopping it up with you, brother.
All the time.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll be at the NBK Nothing But Knicks watch party. That's going to be at Legends Sports Bar in the I guess you want to call that like Midtown area, kind of. It's like it's right outside of Madison Square Garden, basically. And so we'll be part of the pregame and the watch party, maybe the postgame, depending on how late it gets. But yeah, definitely tune into that, guys, and watch on Nothing But Knicks. And if you're in the area and you want to come down, by all means. Although you do have to make sure that you've got your vaccination going. They do check.
Yeah. And registration, right? You got to register through MB.
Yeah, you got to
NBK.
register too. Just put your name on the NBK list. So you can go to NothingButKnicks.com and you can do that straight from their webpage. But yeah, man. So this was great once again. I'm just happy to finally win one, and I'm not going to change, guys. I don't want you to think that this victory's gone to my head. I'm still going to stay the same Ron from Still Knicks fans. Same guy, okay? Same guy. Anyway, John, any final words?
Man, much love and respect to all, you know, content creators out there and anyone who's tuning in. You know, please like, share, you know the deal. And just thank you for tuning in and enjoying some of our content and sharing. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks once again, guys. Thanks to my man John. Thanks to my man Jose holding us down on the ones and twos.
That worked without a problem.
Oh yeah. No, listen, I'm not gonna look. You guys, the conspiracy theorists, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know exactly what took place. Okay, all right. So definitely, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tell a friend that tells a friend who tells another friend, you know,
That's
about
right.
us, and also stay tuned because the NBA report is coming back this week. This is going to be on Wednesday night, this time at 8 p.m. So look forward to that. And if you haven't seen it already, we introduced our new series, an interview with your favorite content creator, which just dropped this past Sunday. It's on YouTube now. That's an interview with myself and Mr. Simeon Russell from Nothing But Knicks. So definitely check that out, guys. And it's not just about Knicks. Actually, it's pretty much not really about Knicks at all. It's about content creation. It's about being a YouTuber, kind of like what to expect, the things you need to be mindful of as you go through the process. So definitely check that out. It's informative. And if any of you guys or gals are interested in getting into content creation, I would definitely take a look at that. It's very informative. That's all I got, guys. This has been another great episode. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. We're out of here.
Later.